Hey everyone, this is Ulysses and welcome to today's video. And today's video is going to be really special because I have a very special guest that you are seeing me and him on the screen right now. So before I go into introducing who is he, what does he do, by the name, his name is Sudip Mukerjee from India. And just a little bit of background story of how me and Sudip get acquainted is that sometime back last year, we had the opportunity to be spending more than a week. In fact, I think it was about 7 to 8 days, 8 or 9 days together in UK. And we were in the same class together. And think about this, a Singaporean from Singapore all the way to UK and Sudip from India all the way to UK. So besides the class itself, we were totally immersed into it even before the class starts, after the class ends, basically 7 or 8, 9 days together. And throughout this time, I have probably know this guy more than or better than his wife, probably. So a lot of you know that I've spent a lot of time training and coaching, especially in corporate clients, individual coaching clients. And if you do ask me to give myself a rating in terms of how I deliver results to my clients and how deep that I really go into understanding the problem and help them to overcome it, probably from a scale of 0 to 10, I will give myself a rating of somewhere around here, all right? But after I have the opportunity to be in the same class with Sudip, this gentleman over here has brought the definition from me in terms of coaching, in terms of methodology, in terms of delivering results, in terms of understanding the very deep psychology behind the client's mindset of what actually constitutes of the problem. He has brought this whole definition for me to a whole new level. So if I'm going to rate myself somewhere here in terms of my coaching ability, and I think I'm fairly good to be honest, all right, Sudip is probably going to be here, all right? So he's going to add a lot of value to all of you over here watching this video here today, and I want to pick on his brain to deliver massive value to all of you. So once again, Sudip, welcome to this video, and I would like to thank you for your time, for taking your precious time in the midst of your work to be online with me over here. All right. Thank you very much, Sudip.
Thank you very much, Ulysses. And it's always wonderful to get back with you and work together.
My pleasure. Right, definitely my pleasure. And for most of you who don't know Sudip, Sudip is a full-time trainer, a professional coach, and he runs his own consultancy firm based out from India, travels around the world. And at the very same time, he has delivered massive value for a lot of his clients that I have personally seen throughout many parts of his projects that he has done this year. So in addition, one thing that's really outstanding about him is that he was a former colonel in the Indian Army. All right, so that's impressive to me, to be honest, all right? Because being in the military is not an easy job. And being in the military at a certain post and onwards is definitely going to be a very challenging job. So Sudip, I want to pick on your brain today to deliver massive value to my audience. As you know, I serve a huge audience of new coaches and new trainers. All right, so one of the key to being a successful coach or trainer is really your ability to deliver results for them. That's what keeps them coming back for more, and that's what keeps them and have them refer additional clients, friends, so on and so forth to you for future businesses. So in your perspective, what do you think is the definition of value from what the client or the customer sees from their perspective towards our work as a trainer or a coach?
Okay, so a person would come to you for a coaching session, essentially after he has expended all his, all the effort that he has, or all the resources that he has, and can't find a solution to the problem. And that's why he wants you to help him solve it for him.
Right.
So as a coach, what you need to do is to understand the perspective that your client has already applied and show him something new. Because unless you address the problem from a new perspective, it won't be solved because he's already tried it and failed.
Right.
So it's very important for you as a coach to understand the client the resources that he has and what all he has tried and not succeeded in solving.
Right.
And then will you be able to show him a fresh perspective, which would then solve the problem for him. So the client wants you to show him something that he hasn't seen. So you're doing that one. Two, if you're attempting to solve it from a different perspective, it will be solved. Because as you know, you're one of the greatest coaches in the world, Tony Robbins, and somebody who you admire a lot, says that if you're doing what you've always done, you will get what you've always got.
Yeah.
So you need to do something from a fresh perspective.
Right.
And as a coach, because of your experience and because of the knowledge that you have and the depth of understanding that you have on the problems, how they are created, you can show him a different perspective.
Right. So I managed to get two very critical points from you in just a very short 1 minute that you have just mentioned. The first thing is that we got to really know what kind of resources that the person have used before. The first thing.
Correct.
That's something that's interesting. That I have a question that came to my mind when you mentioned that, but I will bring it up slightly later. The second thing that you mentioned is really on changing the perspective of the client so that he's able to look at the things in a whole new way. So let's talk about a little bit about the first thing that you mentioned. So most of the time when we deal with a coaching client or even in a training cohort, so they have an issue. That's why they are paying money to be in that coaching session or in the training class. So they have tried something. So one of the common thing that coaches or trainers like to ask the client is that, so what have you tried or what have you done? So the client will usually say a long story from the day that they were born all the way to that day. So how would a coach be able to pick up what is really relevant? That is my question.
Okay. So if you let the client talk,
yeah,
he is going to give you the information that he feels he should give you.
Right.
Most of the time, that's not the information that you want.
Yep.
So essentially, it is up to you to dig out the information that is relevant for you.
Right.
And for I think the NLP meta model is one of the fantastic tools that you have to dig out what is relevant for you.
Right.
So you see what he deletes, what he distorts, and what he generalizes from the language that he uses, and figure out why is he deleting that? Why is he distorting that? So the client would always not say something that he is uncomfortable with.
That's right.
And what causes that discomfort is where you will find the answer to the trouble.
I see.
Because everything that he has done is not worked. So what he has not done, he's not comfortable with. And in that zone of discomfort, or as we say, out of your comfort zone, you'll find the solution.
Right. So for many of you watching this video right now, just in case you were wondering what Sudip was referring to in terms of meta modeling, this is one of the most powerful tools. In fact, it is one of the core curriculum under the field of neuro-linguistics programming. So for some of you who are already familiar with NLP, I'm sure you have already done some in-depth study of meta model. So just for the benefit of some of you who have no idea about NLP or meta modeling, it is basically on the very surface. This is what I'm going to be telling you, is to go into specifics of what a person is thinking, saying, or what he or she is really trying to mean. To go into a deeper, beyond the surface, the roots of this thing. So very interestingly, when you talk about meta modeling, I was expecting you to be touching on this topic, to be honest with you, Sudip, because I have firsthand witnessed the kind of proficiency that Sudip has applied using meta model to really understand a person inside out and upside down. Trust me when I say this, is that when you apply meta model in your coaching, if you haven't done so, all coaches or all trainers, I strongly recommend you to go deep into the entire study of meta modeling. You may not want to go into NLP, that is fine, all right? But take some time and take some effort to really go into studying meta model and be really good at it, because Sudip has opened my eyes to a whole new world in terms of how I can use meta model in my business and also in my work as a coach. So that was really interesting. I was expecting, and I knew that you are going to somehow get into meta model, and that is like something that you very naturally are good at, and yeah, I was totally expecting that. So on the second point that you were referring to, what is the best thing that we can do to help the client to change their perspective around, in your opinion?
What I do is I show them what they are doing. So I draw parallels to the problem that they have to other problems which are seemingly insignificant,
right,
but have the same patterns.
Right.
So for example, if a person is not able to, let's say, take a decision, or he's come to you because he's indecisive, and you show him that, you know, he picks up the glass of water, then puts it back, and then picks it up again, and puts it back again, and then has a drink. So you show him, you know what, you just did it.
Yeah.
And when he sees it, he says, oh, you know what, this is exactly what I do, and this is exactly what the problem I have.
Yeah.
And then as a coach, you figure out what makes him do that, or why does he do that. And if you can figure out why he does what he does, you have the answer to the problem. And if you address that issue, you solve this problem for him.
Right. Nice. That's very nicely put from their perspective of how to change the way they look at things. Right. I think that is really one of the things that a lot of trainers or coaches, they tend to take a set of fixed method or processes that they learn from coaching schools or institutions, or even they read some books from some gurus that they bought from Borders, bookstores, so on and so forth. And they try to take this same set of processes to apply to a client, but they fail to realize one thing is that all clients are different. Even though there are two clients coming to you with the same issue that they have actually mentioned to you, it's totally different. All right, so having that one set of processes, standard set to apply it, that is good if you are starting out, because you must have some baseline for you to work towards and build from there. As you go along, if you really want to be very successful in this area and deliver real results, we got to know that each and every client that we are handling and dealing with are totally different. All right. So Sudip, what is one thing that, in your opinion, if there's going to be a new trainer or a new coach coming to you today, standing in front of you and asking you, what is the one most important thing that you can tell him or her today that will, of course, we can't guarantee, but let's hypothetically put it as, if you can guarantee his success, what is the one thing you will tell any new trainer or a coach?
One thing is, throw away all your templates.
Right.
Because a coaching session is always led by the client.
Right.
So if you have a template and say, you know, when I ask this question, this is what is the answer, that's not going to happen.
Right.
He's going to answer something completely different, and then you're foxed. You don't know what to ask. So throw away all templates and focus on the client. The client will give out everything that you need to know. As you know, that 93% of all communication is non-verbal. So look at what he does. You know, not only hear what he says, meta model the words, but look at how he presents it. He will give you everything that you need to know. Stay away from templates, understand the client, figure out what's bothering him, and solve it.
Very nice.
If you say one thing, throw away all those templates.
Very nice. Very nice. In fact, this is really something that is totally contrasting in what a lot of coaching institutes, a lot of certification schools are teaching. You know, they have a set of like step 1 to step 10. This is a template. This is the script. Take this and use it. You'll be successful. So this is exactly what I've been spending a lot of my time, to be honest with you, Sudip, to educate a lot of new trainers and coaches, is that Education is good where you, in terms of picking up the skills and knowledge from all these institutes. However, delivering real, tangible, actionable results is really based on what you really understand of the client. And I want to thank you on behalf of my audience for giving this one valuable tip. So any one of you that's listening or watching this right now, I hope you managed to get hold of what Sudip has just given you. Throw away all your templates. All right. It's fine you have templates to work on. It is fine that you have templates to refer back to. It is fine you have templates to guide you along your coaching session with your clients. But remember, to deliver real results, you don't really want to depend on them. Right. And that is really valuable. That is really valuable. In fact, I want to write it somewhere later on to remind myself as well, because as you know, I have a lot of templates everywhere in a lot of parts of my business. So this is also a kind of reminder for me as well. Thanks a lot for that, Sudip. So this is a very impactful and very actionable set of things that we have discussed in this video. And that is really the things that we aim to achieve by doing such short videos to all my audience. And I want to thank on behalf of my audience and also everyone that's watching this, Sudip, thank you very much for taking your time out in this session over here. So for some of you, my pleasure. And for some of you who wants to know exactly what Sudip does, I'm going to include a link to his consultancy firm either above or below this video. You can click on it. And what are some of the things that I personally recommend that if you do want to be, do you want to learn more, if you want to know more about certain spectrum, Sudip is the expert and probably one of the top few experts in the world that I personally, and trust me when I say this, is that I deal with experts all day, every day in my job for the past 10 years, right? So if you want to know about delivering real results for clients, especially in terms of coaching, you want to know the real deep psychology mindset of clients. I'm not talking about those standardized things that you learn from certification institutes or wherever that you're learning from. I'm talking about real deep psychology mindset. Sudip is one of the person that I highly recommend. And I'm going to put his link of his company, around this video so that you can get in touch with him. All right. So once again, thank you very much, Sudip, for your time today, for delivering such massive value for my audience.
Thank you, Ulysses, and all the best to you and to your audience.
Thank you. All right. So we see everybody again.